Welcome to the Omar Talks. How are you today? And thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining me for the first time, each time I mention the name God, I'm referring to Yahweh because I know several people have different types of God, but here in Omar Talks, we talk about Yahweh. If you're also joining me for the first time and you prefer the word print or text instead of the podcast, please know you can find me on WordPress. And if you want to have a bit of a video or some pictures, you can also find me on Instagram. Thank you once more for joining me. Also, if you have not subscribed, please do so because I don't post all the time. I actually post when I feel that I have something of value to add. And if you subscribe, that means you get to know when I've put something new on Apple Podcast or the WordPress. Thank you very much once again. Today's topic is the pursuit of success. Success is something that is so dear to everyone because we are all searching for success. Actually, we are in search for security and happiness. Man is preconditioned to pursue success. In this quest, some seek religious dogma and the purpose of life as a means to obtain success, while others alternatively indulge self and pursue their own interests. Regardless, people are really following a course already preconceived by others for them. Invariably, this journey becomes a journey of individualism that puts focus on self and self alone. Unless a person learns and understands that man was not put together on earth to experience life as an individual, but as part of a community, this passage of self will be full of loneliness, fear, and anxiety. On earth, when journeying towards success, man places the love of self as the most important aspect of living. Consciously or unconsciously, people are initiated into a worldwide desire or cult by adopting the school of thought that self, which of course is individualism, is supreme. When prepared as early as childhood to undertake this journey, people have undergone this conditioning and manipulation of their thoughts and ambition by their family, friends, and society. On a sober level, getting an education, a good job, a beautiful home, and being generally successful is at the core purely for individualistic reasons. Love for family, neighbor, and community is seen as irrelevant and inconsequential to who that person is as an individual. People are conditioned to believe that the importance of family and community does not play any role in the path to security and happiness. As a result, the sole purpose of a person's existence becomes that of self-gratification. Me. However, man's way to success has left many in physical and spiritual poverty. Cases of mental health problems have increased, whilst the issue of overwhelming loneliness seems unresolvable. In spite of the me, people are still very lonely. In this discussion, I set out to see what the Bible reveals about God. Does God believe in individualism? And therefore, is God individualistic? Was man made to be an individual or to play a greater role as part of a community? Starting in Genesis, the narration of creation emphasized firstly the importance of union and identifying man's bond to God. Next, we are given the genealogy of the first family, Adam and Eve, and their offsprings, for this is of second importance. Thereafter, Genesis earmarks particular communities, and through their interactions and engagements, emphasizes the importance of man's tie to God and his family. It follows that God sees man as one creation and treats man as a community. Therefore, it is impossible to divorce or isolate oneself from God, the source, family, bloodline, or a community. God revealed himself and used the prophets for the benefit of the community and not themselves. When we read the accounts of figures like Abraham, who is the father of the nations, and Joseph, who has the gift of dream interpretation, their success was not an individualistic search for security and happiness. Rather, they obtained success by recognizing they were being used by God for the benefit of the community. The book of Job also illuminates this message, as although very wealthy, Job's love of God was not based on what God could do for him, but instead what Job can do for God. Moreover, in understanding how to live, the book of Proverbs gives focused advice and guidance on how man can obtain security and happiness. Lastly, the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus in the New Testament demonstrates God's principle. Man is a community. Therefore, man is redeemed as a community. The resurrection of Christ was for mankind, not just for one person. Throughout the narrations and revelations contained in the Bible, we can answer that God does not practice individualism or the pursuit of self, nor does he want us to live life here on earth in this manner. In the search for security and happiness, people have to resist the conditioning and replace society's dangerous dogma of self with the following. Self-centered living is the opposite of God's mandated way of living. It is impossible to divorce or isolate oneself from God, family, and community. Identify your family history, as within each story carries the record of reward and penalties related to your bloodline, and this can explain why certain experiences occur in your life. God sees man as a class action. A community speaks louder than an individual, and punishment and blessings are delivered accordingly. The case of Sodom and Gomorrah and other cases in the Bible. Likewise, community is similar to a passport. It acts as form of identity. God has laws, principles, and operates by them. God has secrets, some of which he shares with a person for the benefit of the community. God will direct a warning or give advice through a dream to a person for the benefit of the community. God does not control our mind or thought, and we should guard our mind for the preservation of the community. And knowing that every man dies and will move to another lifetime, buttresses why we should live for the community, for it will continue long after we are gone. In conclusion, if a person pursues success through self as a means of getting security and happiness, it will elude them, and the journey will be lonely, fearful, and anxious. Therefore, understanding man was put together on earth to experience life as part of a family and community makes a person's journey to security and happiness filled with companionship, strength, confidence, and peace. It is important to know that life here on earth can only be meaningful if it is journeyed. Full companionship, family, and community, and with God at the center of it all. That way, you will achieve success. When every other thing is added, the beautiful home, the beautiful cars, you would feel good. You will feel complete. You will not be lonely. You will not be anxious. You will not be fearful. So do this journey. Do not isolate yourself from people. Do not isolate yourself from family. Family is very important. Do not isolate yourself from community. That is the true journey through pathway to success. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for this precious moment you've shared with me. I pray that God grants you heavenly wisdom to discern what is important in the way you live. Build your house with brick and not with straws, so that it can withstand the test of time. Thank you once again, and bye-bye.